This video describes two communications programs that I use to communicate with the host. And I've sent you a link to a Dropbox folder that contains the files that you see here on the screen. I use two communications programs. Both are communicating via SSH. This one is used for terminal communication, and to install it you just double click, you just unzip this file, and I'm not unzipping it, I'm just looking at the contents so I can show you where the executable is. That's where that's the executable that you want to run. So you just make a link to that if you want. The way I do it is I have put it into the start menu. So that's that. Now the other program is WinSCP. There are newer versions of this that you could download from the WinSCP site, but this old one works just fine for me. Probably will work for you. And this has an installer program, so you just, which is what this program is. So you just double click this and go through the usual Windows installation procedure to install it. And again, I arrange things so that I have this in the start menu also for convenience. This file, which is in the Dropbox folder, has particulars about the site that is set up for you to do the Sanskrit development work on. So let me get this folder out of the way and show you how what you'll see when you start up these two programs. When you start it first, you won't have anything. I click the profiles and I see I've got various profiles already set up. This one that I call 1.1 here is the one that I use, but you won't have that. So how do you get started? You click add profile and then make up a name. Call it sandev if you want, whatever you want to call it. And then edit profiles, and then you'll have sandev selected, and you put the host name and the username into these two fields. They're from that login text file that you'll have, and then you click OK. I'm going to click cancel since I'm not doing that. And then, are you sure you want to cancel? Yes, I'm canceling it. You'll say OK. And then to actually, from there on in, it saves these on disk, so you just log in like this, and it'll give you a password field, and you put in the password. I think I'm remembering that right. So I typed it in. You can paste it in just fine too. And you get that from that login text file as well. And now you're in the server at a Unix prompt. I often use ps1 equals that to make a shorter command prompt. You can say pwd ls and so forth. You can issue Python commands. They have two versions of PHP, at least at this level. So if you run a command line program, you might need to use one rather than the other. But anyway, that's I'll come back to this in a minute. Now, how do you use WinSCP? This is the next step. Well, uh, let's make I have one set up, but let's see what you would say new, and then you put in the host name and the username. Leave the password field empty and you'll be prompted for it each time you log in. I guess you could put it in there and not be prompted. I don't do it that way. And then you save it. And it'll ask you it calls it a session, and it'll ask you for a session name, so you could put sandev. But I'll cancel that. I'm not, since I've already got one. Now I've already logged into this sandev, and that's what you will see once you log in. That's exactly what you'll see in this particular server. This file here is just it was a temporary one that I was working on. This is set up under a hosted web service that I installed, a website for my uncle of some of his sermons. He's a retired pastor. So everything is inside there, and now let me point out one other thing. I have set up so that this file browser is configured in a certain way, and I think is showing both the host system in both left and right hand sides of these two panels. And I just wanted to show you how you get that set up, because that's useful to know. It's down here in Preferences, and under Environment Interface, the way I've got it is using the Explorer option. Now, you also have the ability to choose the editor that you use to edit files. I'll show you how you edit files in a minute. It's very convenient the way it works. Now, you don't have to install one. They have an internal editor that you could use. But I prefer to use Emacs, and you can click this Add folder, and click External Editor, and then you browse to your executable for your editor. But I'll cancel this, since that's what I did to get Emacs, and then I think I had to move it so you can give preference orders, and I think you might have to use these to make your editor, if you choose one, to be at the top, so it'll be the one that's invoked whenever you edit a file. And that's about all the installation that I've set up. So this is just a nice convenient file browser, and here's the one we're interested in. This CAE folder is just an exact copy of the Cologne folder for this particular dictionary, the Capella Sanskrit English Dictionary. Sanskrit English. And these are all the programs. You can see I've got a downloads folder, and a original, so this has the digitizations in it. This has the main Python programs for maintaining for generating updates and so forth. This has all the web displays. I'll show you the URL in a minute. And if, for example, I wanted to tinker with this index.php, I'd double click it, make some change. See, it opened up in Emacs, my preferred editor. I'd make some change in it. I just did that for fun. And do the save command, and you'll get prompted for your password that the first time uh, if I change again, I won't have to enter the password again, but the first time you use it, you do. So anyway, it's a very convenient way to manage your a whole bunch of files. So let me just close that for now. Now let's go to the browser, and this is the URL that you'll use to, I'll just reload this. This is the URL that you'll use. You're now on this development server, and see it shows that my that I added in there just to show you that it took, because we're looking at the file that I modified. I'll go back and change it away, edit it, save the file. See, I didn't have to re-enter the password that time. Now if I reload the page, the change is taken. So I think that's probably enough for right now, and once you get this set up, we'll talk more about exactly what you want to do with this development site. So that's the end of this little tutorial.